Millions of young people around the world struggle with their gender identity. I do, and chances are that you have at some point in your life too. You matter, you're important, and you're worthy of love. If you clicked on this video, then you might know the manga that I'm going to talk about today. But for the people who don't, Boys Run the Riot by Keito Gaku is a fairly short coming-of-age story about a young transgender man named Ryo and his struggles to express himself. Ryo is fairly quiet, preferring to keep to himself and not make a big fuss. Ryo goes to a standard Japanese high school, which of course comes with heavily gendered uniforms. But because of his gender dysphoria, he mostly goes to school in the PE uniform tracksuit, the dismay of some teachers. One day, a new transfer student appears, Jin Sato. Apparently, Jin went to a different school and had to repeat a year due to disciplinary issues. This is fairly taboo in Japanese culture, and this theme is explored in the series, albeit briefly. After school, Ryo puts on his older brother's clothes and goes to a new pop-up shop for a clothing brand he likes, running into, you guessed it, none other than Jin, who also wanted to check out the shop. After seeing they have similar sensibilities when it comes to fashion, Jin invites Ryo to help him start a fashion brand. Thus begins Boys Run the Riot. Ryo has a serious passion for designing clothes and really likes the idea of working with Jin to create their own fashion brand. Later though, he overhears Jin with his friends about wishing Ryo was more ladylike. Keep in mind that at this point, Jin does not know that Ryo is a trans man. Ryo is upset by this and berates himself for thinking that Jin was different. He doesn't like the fact that he trusted Jin and that Jin let him down. He realizes though that maybe he should just tell Jin, and so in a moment of courage, Ryo comes out to Jin about being transgender. Jin doesn't fully understand, but he does fully support Ryo. After Jin starts telling his classmates that they are starting a fashion brand together, Ryo interrupts him and says that it's nothing, as he's very private and shy. Jin gets kinda mad at him because he wants his partner to be totally into making clothes with him 100%. So Ryo's reluctance to be straightforward with the people at school that they are making a fashion brand is upsetting to him. Ryo realizes this, and because of his friendship with Jin, he apologizes and says he won't lie about the brand anymore. The next day, during a general assembly with the whole school, Jin goes on stage, hijacks the mic, and tells the whole school that he is starting a fashion brand. What a fucking baller. On the way out of school, in show of solidarity for Jin getting in trouble, Ryo graffitis on the wall of the school, "Our fashion brand begins now. Ryo plus Jin." Ryo and Jin's dynamic is really cute throughout the whole series. They're obviously not involved romantically. They have very solid friendship, and it's very endearing to see them interact. Even though Jin doesn't fully understand Ryo, he still goes out of his way to be Ryo's #1 supporter, which is really cute. And he also has really, really cool fashion sense. This series honestly gives me hope for future LGBTQ plus representation in manga. As someone who's dating a trans guy, I can relate to a lot of the struggles that Ryo goes through in his day-to-day life. As someone who's also into art and fashion, I can tell that Keito Gaku really did his research on fashion, the process of how clothes are printed, and fashion culture in general. The representation of LGBTQ issues and rights in this manga is outstanding, and it was a very satisfying read. I also have to give props to the editorial staff at Kodansha for including translation notes for people who aren't already knowledgeable about LGBTQ issues, and especially about safe binding practices and terminology that is common in Japan but not so much elsewhere, such as X-gender, which is a common term used by non-binary and gender-fluid people to describe themselves in Japanese queer culture. I will warn you, there is some slight transphobia and themes of anxiety and depression in this manga, so if you're overly sensitive about these topics, I would advise reading with caution. Overall, I would say this manga is perfect for people who already know a lot about these issues, and it's also a great read if you're curious or less knowledgeable about trans issues. When all is said and done, I'd probably give Boys Run the Riot a 9 out of 10. The only issue that I have is I feel like I wish there was a little more to read. There are 4 volumes that comprise the series, and I just wish we got a little more, just a little hint more of conclusion to some of the character arcs. I understand that it kind of leaves out, and it leaves off in a very bittersweet kind of way. It's very positive and kind of lets you imagine what the future holds for these characters. But I really do wish that Keito Gaku and his vision for like the end of this story was, I guess, more like realized. I don't know. I just wish there was a little. So yeah, a 9 out of 10. I really could not recommend this series enough. Um, for casual readers, for anyone who just needs to pick something up and read. Uh, it's really good, very fulfilling, very wholesome, and yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna do the cringe thing and say please like, subscribe if you're not already. It's free. You can always unsubscribe at any time. I know that I'm a very young channel. Maybe not in terms of views, but in terms of video output. I haven't really put out as much as I'd like to, and I would say it would be a huge help if you would subscribe. Please leave a like, leave a comment on what series you'd like to see me talk about next. Um, I'm willing to do like pretty much anything. To be honest. Um, yeah, I hope that you liked this video. Please comment any anything you liked about the video, something you didn't like about the video, any recommendations you'd have for me. Um, I appreciate it. I'll read every comment. If you need any support or anything after this, I will be leaving a link to the Trevor Project and, of course, to folks for HRT and other miscellaneous trans needs. Please consider checking them out if you are in need. Um, yeah, and yeah, have a nice night.